And especially in India, you must have felt that a scene that people get offended very easily here.
Oh my god.
Like
It's actually insane.
insane, right?
Yeah.
Like if anything, I'm talking especially a woman says, then it blows out
Oh
of the
yeah.
context and proportion, and they're like, how she can say
I
that?
mean everything when a woman says it will be says it, does it, whatever
Scrutinized.
lives exists, I think will be scrutinized. It will be a different level of scrutiny altogether. So yeah, I've definitely not even just seen that, experienced that. And I think also just the perceptions of like the attitudes towards us specifically as women, I'm speaking, very privileged women obviously, but I think like just showcasing anger or showcasing frustration or showcasing anything is then used against you, very easily. It is used against you to say things like, oh, she's emotionally unstable, she doesn't have that ability, like क्या ही discussion करना है इसके साथ, because she can't even handle her.
Very strong mindset in our parents, if you must have seen that
Yeah.
they do not respect their wife a lot, right? You must have seen. I must have seen. I have seen a lot in the society which I'm coming from, the area which I'm coming from.
Which is?
Usually, which in the, like, it's not. It's kind of a rural area in the Madhya Pradesh,
Okay.
near Jabalpur.
Hmm.
So I have seen that because a woman's a housewife and she has not. She only has to take care of the household activities, chores. So it feel like they're looked down, or look like you do not have much power, because they don't have much power, and the men are the bread earners, right, of the family. So they feel like they are in the authority and they have to make all the decisions. So whenever if a woman try to interrupt in between, she's like, हाँ जैसे आप you said, right, तुम्हें क्या पता है, or what do you know about this, how you, so they're not given much respect, or their opinions are not valued enough. Do you feel the same? That, and I also want to know from you that why are women scrutinized in our society?
I mean, it's a patriarchal like cycle, right? I mean, it's gone on for so many decades, centuries, I would say. And I mean, to go back to what you were saying at first, I think again, I want to acknowledge that this is also, there are hierarchies that are intertwined with feminism, or what we call, like, women's rights, and that's the class based and caste based hierarchies. I mean, I am a privileged woman in the sense that I can make my own choices. I have been raised to make my own decisions, and I am able to say I want to work. I'm able to, not that those women aren't able to, they are, but they when they do voice that is stamped down upon. These people that you're saying that have been working in households or have been working in the kitchen all their lives, and maybe they don't want to do that, but nobody has asked them what they want. Correct. So I as a privileged woman, let's start from there, have been asked what I want, and have not even just been asked. I can say that for myself. I don't have to wait for somebody to, approach me in that way. So I think that there are many layers to this when it comes to being a woman generally. I think even when I am this privileged and I am in these workspaces and I am in this world, right? There are certain things that are questioned about my positionality, about what I bring to the table, about my choices, about, marriage, about how I see my future with somebody and having kids. All of these things, I think they catch up to us much, much quicker than men, for sure. So yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I can go on and on about the daily experiences of us living as women in India, but yeah, we can even talk about safety. We can talk about,
My next
all of
question
that.
was on that, but
Yeah.
before I come to that, I wanted, what's your perspective on this?
I think I agree with everything she said and you said, but also, like, I feel like another aspect is the approval and permission we need. If no one in our family, or even just one member, like a male member of our family or society, disapproves or is not satisfied with what we're doing, we will always feel the guilt that, oh, I disappointed them, or oh, I lost their respect, or something like that. So I feel like we need to learn how to voice that and stand up for ourselves. But we feel like that if it leads to a fight or an argument, or even like it will make it worse if we say it. So we would just stay stuck in that cycle.
Yeah.
But I have seen in my family as well that suppose, as you mentioned, right? My mother especially is usually like, my father is like, she's always worried about what my dad will think,
Yeah.
or is it the right thing to do or not. She's so much worried, but and it pisses me off, to be honest. So have you felt the same in your life, or maybe you have seen around?
Yeah, I mean, I think again there are like what she was saying. I think patriarchy has impacted women and men, right? It's not just that women are victims of it; men are have also been victims of it, because men. It's also certain women who are reproducing the same systems to like be able to keep this idea that our sons and our fathers and our they're put on a pedestal, constantly put on a pedestal. So I have felt that in many scenarios, that even within my family, within my relatives, that there have been times where they have been put on pedestal, and their opinions and things that they can get away with saying and doing, when they do, when for example something unjustified comes about, or something that their irrational anger outbursts come about, that is not, and I'm speaking generally, I'm not speaking specifically just about my family, I've seen this in other families also, that is not in questioned or challenged. It's almost like, yeah, he has this anger outburst, and now that will finish, and we have to just move on to the next thing.
They kind of justify their anger, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
It's
Going
become
back
so
to what-
normalized.
going back to what I was saying, like when we're angry, it's like not justified. It's an unjustified thing, and it needs to be, said like, "अरे यार इतना गुस्सा क्यों हो रही हो? ऐसे क्यों बात करती हो? कितनी गंदी तरह बात कर रही हो? That कितनी बुरी तरह बात कर रही हो?"
इतनी बड़ी बात थोड़ी है.
Yeah.
You must also have heard this. ये कोई तरीका होता है लड़की की तरह बात करने का.
Yeah. So all of these like things. I mean, it's constant. It's like I think some things also we've normalized so much in our lives that this is just a given, that we don't realize they're happening to us anymore until we feel certain things, like what she's saying with the guilt, where we think like, where is this coming from, that if I'm upsetting my brother or my father or my uncle, why is it such a big problem to me? Why can't I just go on and live my own life the way I want? And it's usually always, my mom is my mom is an extremely strong, self-made woman. I say this very proudly. She has done whatever she has wanted in life. She has achieved whatever she has wanted in life. And I know, I've seen how supportive my dad has been towards all of that. And I think that, I mean, that goes without saying that he should be, right? Like, it's a bare minimum.
Yeah.
But the fact that we have to celebrate this and say,
Exactly.
what men are doing is so great. And when we find a kind-hearted man and somebody that doesn't pass judgments on us, we're like, wow, this man is amazing. And I'm like, but why is the threshold so low? Why is it such a low
I
threshold?
feel you actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that even the hidden oppression has become so normalized that even oppression starts from the level from discriminating between a brother and a sister,
Yeah.
right? A son and a daughter, like, अरे उसको करने दो ना, वो तो सही है, तुम क्यों इतना. Suppose if you want to go out
Yes.
at night, if you want to go out in the late night, and you will always be questioned, or you will always be warned, okay, it's not the right time, but the guy
And that's
will never
also,
be
I think that's
questioned.
also very cyclical, because it's like, it isn't safe outside. So then our families are saying, don't go out late at night. And then but like, if it was safe, I still think that people would, like, now it's become like a ingrained thing that we have to tell her that she should not go out late at night, even when it's like a safe environment. We are told that same thing. I think the situation is causing the circumstances around us are causing patriarchy at familial levels to become more solidified. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like a give and take, right? Like, we are creating the society that we want, and society is enabling. Society is enabling what families are doing at home. So I feel like that vicious cycle needs to be broken somehow, but it's going to take a very long time, very very long time.
And now I want to know from both of you, as a girl, do you feel that girls are safe in India?
I mean, I'm living here now, so I can give a little bit of an insight on what it feels like. I think Bangalore is definitely something else altogether. I'm coming from the north. I'm very happy here. I think I love the fact that South India is like 10, 15, if not 20 times more safer than North India. I'm not trying to generalize everything, but I'm just talking about North Indian states, Delhi and above especially. I'm talking
There
Punjab.
are so
I'm
much of
talking
in
even
news as
UP, even those areas. Yeah, and all the hearsay is quite honestly the least, like the least of what is actually happening, which is the most devastating thing ever. Like what is reported, it's so underreported. So I feel like I'm very happy in Bangalore. I think my dad especially has felt obviously very protective in terms of like, where are you going, what are you doing, how are like things going. But now that I've lived here for a month or two, like they also know Bangalore is extremely safe compared to, if I was living in Delhi or Amritsar, like no way I would be living there. First of all, I don't think I would have
cannot
made
even
that decision only.
go out after 7 p.m., right?
I mean, even in broad daylight, you're constantly looked at in a certain way. I would call it, leering, groping, stalking. All of these things are very part and parcel of that life. And I just, you can just tell as a woman. When you come to the airport or when you come to like a public place with clenched fists, ready to tackle whatever comes your way, and suddenly you can just let loose and be like, you know what? Nobody cares. No one's looking at me. It's great. And that's how I felt.
That's exactly how I felt the first time I came to the airport, like to see her. And I was traveling alone. So, of course, I felt that, nervousness and anxiety that, oh my God, what will happen? Because it was my first time coming to South India as a grown woman. Um, and and she was like preparing it out. It's totally safe. You just have to go to the cap
You have
station.
to tell these things, like you have to warn people beforehand. What is it like? What are the parameters
Yeah.
like?
So she's like, yeah, it's okay. You just get a cab from the airport and come. Nothing will happen. And I'm like, are you sure? Really?
Yeah.
And I was like, I was doubting it. And then as soon as I landed and stepped out, I instantly felt the difference. It just took a minute and I instantly felt the difference to if I landed in Delhi or Amritsar. So yeah, it's like very safe here.
Talking about such a bare minimum thing as a celebration.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's just normalized for us. Like for us, we just walk with like what I'm saying, clenched fists. We walk like that. I walk anywhere, even with Bangalore. It took me some time to get comfortable and feel that I'm safe here and feel that I'm safe in my surroundings. And if anything happens to me, I know that there are people that will take care of me. It's not just going to be like out of the blue, because it is very out of the blue when you when you go to other places in India. Many a times you're like, okay, pata nahi aaj kya surprise hone wala hai. Pata nahi aaj kya. I mean, in all seriousness, it's quite debilitating. It's quite you're constantly having to walk on eggshells, right? In and I'm only talking about the Indian experience. I think in a lot of places, but I'm talking about India specifically because I know it's so in your face in South Asia and a lot of places. And yeah, one other thing that I was thinking about was the fact that like there's this like I don't know how patriarchy also adds to this, but like when we as like we go from like being girls to women, and that transition period, when all of these like people in our family start telling us that you have to be careful now, you're becoming a woman, now you're becoming like somebody that they can. And I'm like, okay, but have we not heard like child sexual harassment stories? Have we not heard like it? I don't think it's a thing that only that I'm suddenly say unsafe now because I have become a woman. Yes, maybe the exposure that I have now because I'm on my own, I'm going out and all of that is more. But I think like all of these sentiments about trying to protect women, trying to like control what they wear and how they walk and where they go, it's only leading to like more oppression of women. Like to tell me like you shouldn't wear this because a guy will look at you a certain way, to tell me, you know, like maybe wear something full sleeved or something, you know, that covers you up because a guy will, no, like that has not stopped guys.
Even animals are not safe.
And it always comes back on us, the responsibility for their crimes, for their misbehavior, for their, you know, their very male chauvinist mindset always happens to come onto us. We have to change ourselves so they can accept us, and that's the crux of all the behavior you see, whether that be physically, whether that be mentally.
But I wanted my follow-up question was on this only. Why are women told what they should wear?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's a, men can just get away with things. Like I think that's what the world
Is
has
it
become.
because of the protectiveness?
But I think the protective, that's my problem, because I think it's cyclical again. It's a give and take here, because you want to protect women from men, and I feel like you shouldn't need to in the first place. Like, why are we even talking about what women should, what you have to do towards women for them to be able to live in a world that is so, just so predatory. It's so predatory for them. It's so constantly like attacking, you know, it's so constantly scrutinizing, it's so constantly denigrating towards them, and you're telling them, hey, you're doing this, that's why these people are talking to you like this, you're doing this, that's why these people are acting. That's part of the clothing aspect too. It's saying that, you know, we have to change the way we dress, we have to change the timings we go out and come back in, we have to change, you know, what routes we take, we have to get married early,
Yeah.
we have to, not like married women aren't raped all the time, but you know, we have to. So it just, I think that idea of accommodation, you know, like you have to accommodate, you have to adjust. Adjust is that word. एडजस्ट करो, मैरिज में सबको एडजस्ट करना पड़ता है बेटा.
मेरी बहन को भी सेम सुनने मिलता है
हाँ.
घर में. I always tell my mom, stop saying this bullshit. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता है.
Yeah.
इसलिए
So I
भी
mean, you see it with your mom too, right? Like, it's not a like patriarchy. It's both men and
Both
women, and women can enable it so many times. Women can enable it.
I keep telling my mom, at one time you were the one who you were the prey of. I mean, you actually were the one who was the victim of this whole system. Now you have become the predator. So you should think out of the system now. What's your take on this? Have you felt in this your life that you are being told what to wear or to be very cautious and
Yeah, many times. I even being raised in an international environment, we have been told that.
even there?
Yeah, so I don't think it's like India related. I think generally the world has been so designed for men. I can say that. Um,
Oh my God, there's this really good book called Invisible Women,
yeah.
which I highly recommend reading. It's about a world designed for men. Like how everything has been manufactured to suit men, whether that be cars, whether that be air conditioners, in office settings. All of these things do not take into account the needs of a woman, the physical needs, you know, the physical capacities and the needs of what a woman needs to feel warm in an office. AC ke temperature, you know, kitna niche chala jata hai, that kind of stuff.
Ergonomics.
Yeah. So, I mean, sorry,
Yeah,
segue,
yeah.
but Invisible Women, very good recommendation.
Yeah, you were saying something.
Yeah, so I feel like the world has been designed for men. Like she was saying about that book, it's actually really good. And it talks a lot about that. And I feel like even if we voice it, even like the HR in companies, they don't really take into account our needs. They will just listen, but then nothing will actually change. No one really wants to act on the change. The words and actions don't really align. Even if it's like in their policies or in whatever written form they have or whatever they say, they won't do that. They won't act on that. So I feel like it's very men driven. And I feel like that really needs to change.
And I would also like to mention one very good point you mentioned, that instead of questioning or warning women that what you should wear or you should go out after this time, it's a high time that we should start schooling boys.
Yeah.
कि
Or even like you should learn martial arts. You should learn like taekwondo. Great, everyone should learn martial arts. Everyone should. Why should we have to learn it to protect ourselves from men? So yeah, I think it's exactly what you're saying. The root cause of the problem is never addressed because it's still they're still putting men on this throne that like
वो तो करेंगे ही, आपको सावधान रहना है.
yeah.
It's a sick
उनकी
mindset.
ऐसी फितरत है. They're born this way. That's what we're told, no?
It's a sick mindset if you
Yeah.
So
see that.
basically, only we're the ones who are expected to change, and the men can keep doing what they want.
Yeah.
They don't have to change because they have the power.
And she was talking about policies and all of that in workplaces, and it just made me think about all the stuff that's happened with the Me Too movement, and how like just certain things you don't even they're so easily can cross lines. They can so easily cross lines, and for that to just be like that was not harassment, that was not I just winked at her, that was not harassment, that was just a joke. These things are so easily I just say foregone, like they're just not acknowledged, they're just not seen as even harassment anymore. Like we have to sit down and define what it is now, because the lines have been so blurred by them. So yeah, I think it's just this conversation is just bringing out a lot of my rage that I feel on an everyday basis. I think
Even you have stayed for like 22 years outside India, still you have this rage.
वापस आते तो पता चल जाता है ना. Like every time you fly
Mindset
back, we
change.
came back from China every summer. We used to be back, and growing up as a girl to then becoming a woman, I've seen it around me. I've seen how my aunts and my mom and everyone has had to tiptoe certain times. Not in the my mom has never tiptoed, but in the family at the familial level. But I think at the general level of just being in this society, how you have to tiptoe. I mean, she's had so many work experiences. She's worked in Udaipur in the beginning of her career, and she still tells me Rajasthan mein kaam nahi hoga mere se because of just how the mindset is, how the workplaces are. So yeah, I think it's just a given, and I don't know when it will change, how it's changing. There is change. I'm not gonna say there isn't change, but it's just very, very, very slow. Like we need them to pick up the pace, man. We need you guys to pick up the pace. That's the thing.